advice, some recommendations, some things that are happening in Uganda at the moment. So I hope you have some time to share. I'll try to be as brief as possible on each item because I have quite a few items. Give me just a second. I might have to turn off the car. Okay. I don't know if the sound is in here, but I don't want anything to interrupt what we're doing right now. Can you hear me well? Everything okay? All right. So, as you know, Museveni is still struggling to find His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. Reports indicate that he has brought in a lot of equipment from countries to try to find him using technology or have experts who can track him, because he knows for sure that BOBIWINE is in Uganda. He believes that he has not left the country despite arguments about him either being in or out of the country. He also suspects that he's in the American embassy, which is a place that he had planned to attack. Recently, I've put 2 posts where he vehemently says he's going to bomb the United States embassy in Uganda, in Kampala, because he suspects that BOBIWINE is being kept and held in that place. So leave that to him to try to cause some trouble, because he knows what will come if he attempts to attack the embassy. But Museveni believes the gun solves everything, but let's see how that goes. So that military equipment, or the equipments that have been brought to look for BOBIWINE, have been stored in Mbuya barracks, in the military barracks. Any of you who are familiar, it's around Kiswa Bugolobi area. That's where the barracks is located. So all of that equipment that is supposed to be searching for BOBIWINE or His Excellency Kyagulanyi are stored in that place. The other thing is that because of what's going on with M23 in Congo and Rwanda, and Kagame denying that M23 is from Rwanda, now Kagame says it's from Uganda, Museveni feels like things are closing in on him. And so one of the things that he's trying to do, or he wants to do in the next few days or weeks, is to get rid of Jamil Mukulu. As you know, that Jamil Mukulu had been branded a rebel, and he's in the prisons of, he's in Luzira in Uganda. So people who are involved in this plan are Frank Baine, Byabashaija, and Museveni. They plan to kill Jamil Mukulu in prison because they believe that if he's caught and he has to talk, he will have a lot to say that will incriminate Museveni and his regime. Museveni and Kagame right now are in the same boat. Everything that links Kagame, for example, the treaty that they made with Congo between Tshisekedi and Kagame in front of the President Trump of the United States, that has fallen through because Kagame lied and Kagame fooled. He thought he fooled the United States. And so it has been tracked down to the fact that M23 is indeed sponsored by Kagame. But recently, or Rwanda, due to investigations here and there, they've also figured out that Kagame is also linked to Museveni. So then Kagame went and spoke and said, you know what, I misspoke. M23 is actually a rebel group from Uganda. So in efforts to, take off the blame, Kagame is incriminating Museveni and has already incriminated Museveni. And so Museveni lives knowing that even if they attack Kagame, he knows that it's coming for him. He knows that somehow he has been implicated, and so it is just a matter of time before all of this gets on him. So they want to get rid of Jamil Mukulu. He was arrested in 2024 as a rebel group, remember, as part of, I believe, Congo or something like that. But he has been in custody in the prisons in Uganda for a while. So Jamil Mukulu, anybody who knows him, he's on target. He's supposed to be, according to orders from Museveni, arrangements with Biarasheja and Frank Bwiino. They want to get rid of Jamir Mukulu while in prison in Luzira because they're afraid of him speaking. The other thing, this is funny, but it's true. So, you know how Museveni has been buying off a lot of political prisoners here and there? No, not political prisoners. Opposition like Noop and all those people to try to get them to work with him. Recently, we found out that in as much as he calls them and tries to buy them to get them on his side, you know how they promised them a lot of money, millions of dollars, of shillings, billions of shillings here and there. Museveni has figured out how to keep them on a leash, to continue doing what he has asked them to do, but he's not relinquishing that money to them. So apparently what he's doing with the opposition is when he calls them to, like the Nsibambis, when he calls them to go and meet with him and he promises them a lot of money, what Museveni then does is after the meeting and the agreements and the signed MOUs and all these things, agreeing to work with him or work for him, Museveni then asks them how much they want and where they want to take it. And because this money is bulky, sometimes they can't just take it in cash to wherever they want to take it, because sometimes Museveni has access to a lot of cash. So even if they do give him cash to take home, they're asked to be escorted by guards. So Museveni will give them some guards to take them home. And as they go, when they go to the banks to go and keep that money, Museveni will send them with an escort who knows how much or which bank they're going to. So when they, let's say, well, what was this recent gentleman? So let's say somebody goes to Museveni to go get some cash and they've agreed, they've signed MOUs. He sends them with a guard with the money that he has given them to go and deposit in a bank. So every bank is code numbered or code named by the Museveni people. So they'll send him with the security to try to get that money to the bank. When they get to the bank, this code is communicated back to Museveni just to say, this person has brought the money and has deposited it in this bank. So what he does is he communicates with those bank officials not to release those funds to them until he says so. So imagine you take cash to a bank, but you don't have access to actual liquid cash. Museveni has become a mafia among these people. They go in, they take their money, they take it to the bank it in their accounts where they usually go and exchange cash or money however they wish. This money becomes held up in that place. And their salaries go in there. So for example, the MPs who work with Museveni, who already have established banking services with a certain institution, when they go to withdraw that money, they can't withdraw anything. All the bankers will say, go back and talk to whoever has sent you, or your account is frozen. So despite the fact that Museveni has already met with them, they've signed and they're working for Museveni, they don't have access to those funds, plus their salaries are also increasingly frozen. So all of these MPs, Nope, or opposition MPs who work for Museveni, they are working on empty because all the money is frozen and only Museveni can release those funds. So imagine, you know, after all that they're doing, and they can't say no, and because they hope to get that money, they can't stop working for him. They can't say no. The other day, Walusimbi was ordered by Museveni to show up and change to NRM immediately. Without saying any arguments, he went and did it anyway, because he has them on a leash now. They expect to get this money. The money is held up, and Museveni is going to hold this past, likely past swearing in, which means these people have to show up to swear in. By all means, they are going to come and stand beside Museveni, hoping to get the money, or by MOU. And they know what Museveni is capable of. So when you see our brothers and sisters in the opposition who have started working for Museveni, they're not having it easy. Their funds are frozen, personal funds, plus what Museveni promised them. So, you know, good luck to you people for being traitors, because you are, we're in the same boat, basically. Except you have allegiance to somebody who will not make you sleep. Okay? Next, ammunitions. Museveni is worried that something is going to attack him. He has been very concerned that as much as they're emphasizing Rwanda, he knows that he is next, or he's being lured by all these attempts on Kagame, but they really want him. So, like they say, when you beat a dog, you're looking for the owner. You're waiting for who's going to come and say, hey, I'm the owner of this dog. So basically, whatever they're doing to Kagame, Museveni knows that they're looking for him, because he has all ties to everything Kagame is doing. Museveni is no different, and the world knows it already. So, what Museveni has been doing, he has decided to move all ammunitions from Amras in Uganda, all the Amras where ammunition was stored, especially in the Nakasongola area. He has decided to move everything from those locations because he doesn't trust the UPDF anymore. He doesn't trust the army, even his SFCs, because he believes that anything could happen now. Anyone can be used. Anyone can try to distance themselves from him. Anyone can cause him trouble. So he has built a lot of houses, or bought some around Kampala and within the cities. He has decided to empty all of the Amras and bring all of the ammunitions into those different homes, and he has taken SFC soldiers away from barracks and has plotted them in the neighborhood so that they can secure or watch over those ammunition. So in the last, I think, a day or so, this has come a little bit late on my part. So a few days ago, some people witnessed load shedding or power shut off along the Nakasongola highway coming from the barracks over there, because Museveni shut down power from 8 p.m. because he was moving weapons from the armories to the buildings where he wants to secure them. So many of you those who have lived in those areas, you can tell that there's been power shutoffs consistently from 8 p.m. until morning, purposely, because he wants to, in the darkness, move those ammunition and weapons to new locations, because he doesn't trust anyone. They've brought in a lot of military, obviously, from Rwanda, because they know what's coming at them. And so they feel like they need to protect themselves with people who trust them or people who care about them. So a lot of those ammunitions have been moved into new homes. If you see new builds in your area or buildings, it is because they are trying to shift or move over their security or ammunitions, because they believe once they're attacked, they need to have defense from people who care about them. So you will notice a lot of new people in the neighborhoods. They look different, they walk different. Those are SFCs who have been deployed to be around and protect and watch over those ammunitions, because he's afraid that if the military turn on him, they'll use it on him. Okay. Next here, only top commanders actually know about those weapons, the ones that are being moved around, because he's preparing to spread a whole lot of the battalions away from the military barracks into local communities where he can control. Okay. Buganda region. This is a new one. So the Rwandese community has designated Buganda region as their gain. As you might know, you might have heard that in the place in Rwanda where the memorial or the memorial location where the genocide victims are inscribed on rocks and things like that. The tourist area where the people who go to visit people who suffered or lost their lives during the genocide in Rwanda has an inscription where the Kagame people have linked the loss of lives during the genocide to Baganda in Uganda. Strangely so. You know very well that it's impossible that Ugandans went and attacked Rwandese during the Tutsi and Hutu war in Rwanda, which eventually brought Kagame into power. That 1994-1993 genocide, that was executed amongst themselves. But apparently in the inscription on the rock that is the foundation rock of the memoriam in that location, there is an inscription that says, these people, or in memory of those who lost their lives, and this war that was caused by the Baganda from Uganda. It is very strange. It is not true. But I understand that these Rwandese people, especially the ones that are causing a lot of instability in Rwanda, the Kagame people, are teaching their children or sharing with people of Rwandan descent, of those enemy descent, that the people that killed or caused the genocide in Rwanda were Ugandans and they were Baganda. That is not true. So in essence, they have poisoned some people's minds. And that's why you see when these Rwandese people are attacking or hitting or beating Ugandans, they do it mercilessly. Because they have that bad seed that was sown in them, saying that Ugandans or Baganda are the ones who killed them during the genocide. So be watchful of that. And so, in essence, what they're resorting to do now, okay, is that they are trying to take back Buganda, to take away Buganda, to make it part of Rwanda's gain. How are they doing that? Museveni has mobilized a lot of money from abroad to buy Buganda land. Therefore, any Muganda who is going to be able to sell land, and whatever price you ask, they are going to buy it off your hands. The reason why they're buying this land is so that they can take over Buganda region. So, my advice, or the advice given to the Baganda community or people living in Buganda, I know that Buganda is richly and generously for everyone. All Ugandans are welcome in Buganda. I grew up in Buganda and I know what that means. You have welcomed everyone from every region. Anybody who has property in that region, please do not sell. Because the reason you're going to be selling is you are selling your soul and everyone who is in your lineage to these Rwandese people. They are coming to take over, not to just buy and settle like good neighbors, like other people have done. So be mindful, be watchful. Anybody who asks for any amount is going to be given that amount, because the Rwandese want to take over that land. And anyone who refuses will be eliminated. Okay? So they have devoted, and they are devout to apply this to try to take over Buganda by all means. Okay? So stand firm and don't sell your land, because they're going to pay whatever price you ask, but don't sell your land. Change is coming, and we will settle freely and happily in our land. Okay? Next is Muhoozi is bringing a new law in Kampala, in Uganda, where he says that people living in Kampala or businesses existing within Kampala, in the capital, in the city area, they are going to require that you build only flats or storage buildings, like 2, 3, 4 storied buildings only. And if you can't afford that, you should get out of the city. Okay? So this is another way that they're going to manipulate people who can't afford, or people who are established. You know, you don't have to build according to what they want. You should build according to what you can afford. But they're going to try to get people out of the city if you can't build more than 2 floors. If not, they'll offer you money and pay you off to leave the land or property. And if you are not able to relinquish, they will try to eliminate you. This is also going to be linked to any buildings that are in or around the city limits, within roadsides or cities where a lot of businesses operate. They're going to require you to pay a special tax, and that is to their benefit. So basically, they're trying to impoverish people who are existing in business activity, doing well, excelling, or struggling somewhat, but have something to do in the city, because they want to take Buganda, especially the capital, metropolitan Kampala area, to become a Rwandese gain. Like they said, the project is called Baganda is our gain. Buganda is our gain. So be watchful of that. Museveni invited all TikTokers and YouTubers. Yesterday you saw him. He met with them. Okay. He has given them money to build studios. And is also going to give them a license to operate. These YouTubers and TikTokers are going to be given instructions on what they'll be speaking about, or areas of concentration, such as his swearing-in ceremony, which he wants to make really big. The speakership race, that's also something that these YouTubers, you saw the Kasukus at State House and a few others. Unfortunately, our youth still don't know, some of our youth still don't know who they are or what they are. You know, it is sad to watch that a foreigner who is not Ugandan is giving us a piece of Uganda, and the Kasukus don't realize that they can gain all these things on their own. So I listened to one of the young men who was in the audience and spoke to Museveni, who said that he had a degree in, is it mechanical engineering or something like that, but he has now become a YouTuber, and he has to be bought by pennies here and there just to make him feel valid. You know, I wish we knew who we are so we could fight for what we have or what belongs to us rightfully. So Museveni is going to be using these people a lot to try to get, obviously, media attention away from His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. That's his biggest idea. His biggest challenge has been diverting the media to talk about something else, or social media to talk about something else other than His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. But all in vain, because people can go and meet with Museveni and talk to him about whatever he wants of interest at that time. I think Ugandans are awake enough that they can't defy what their heart is telling them or wanting. Okay, so I have faith that even if they go and, he's convincing them to do this, that, or the other, most of us, most Ugandans, most youth, Katongole, yes, I think he said biomedical engineering. That was a really sad truth that I heard from one of the gentlemen who went to visit Museveni with the Kasukus. It is absurd, but sometimes we learn the hard way. So, we'll see how far that goes, but in efforts, we're going to continue fighting to try to get our Uganda back from these people. Okay, so these TikTokers went and they were promised 5 billion shillings. Museveni promised to give them, but as I mentioned earlier, when Museveni gives these people this money, even if he promises, those funds do not get disbursed unless Museveni says so. Many of them are working for free. There are people who I know who were promised by Museveni to get a lot of money, and it's been years that they haven't gotten it. So no matter what they do, this is, these are just promises, and it doesn't mean that it's going to change their lives. These people are also going to be given different projects. Like I said, they're going to be covering the speakership race, the swearing in of Museveni, and they're going to be demeaning NUP and all of its party activities. As you know, Museveni's biggest job right now is to try to make BOBIWINE look less valuable before us, which is impossible, almost impossible to do, but he's trying. Good luck to him. Next, Museveni Muhoozi Damulira approached people who own bonds for vehicles. around Uganda, Kampala area especially. Jinja also has some bonds. Those people were approached by the Museveni and the NRMs because he needed those vehicles to be used during the election period. Many of the bond owners agreed to give them the vehicles. However, they were supposed to pay those people and also eventually, after the campaigns ended, return those vehicles. Museveni now can't afford anything in Uganda. He can't afford to live because his government is very broke. So they haven't paid these people a dime, and they have also refused to return those vehicles. When they got those vehicles, if you remember some of the vehicles that were trailing His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu on the campaign trail, most of those vehicles had no number plates. And not because they didn't have any, it was because there were new vehicles that were still in the bond, not yet released to be used or sold as they should have. So they took those vehicles and used them and have refused to pay the fees that were due, that should have been paid. Plus, they've also refused to return the vehicles. So what he's now going to do, because the vehicles are still being used for patrol in the local communities, somebody shared a news piece where Minister Ekiwandiko, I think his name is Ekiwandiko. He talked about vehicles having to leave the city areas and move up to other districts and all of that. They're trying now to clear the streets of those vehicles, and so those owners of those vehicles are not going to get them back. Okay? There are no solutions. They've tried to talk to Salim Saleh and everybody else to try to get that money back, but none of that is coming back to them. They also promised to give them tax holidays on those vehicles or new imports, but obviously, as a mafia government, nothing really, as you agree upon, does exist or happen with Museveni. The next thing I have is Nzeija Chiriowa Chiwanuka have been asked to draft some charges in the judiciary because Museveni wants to come back in the hearts of Ugandans. He wants them to draft some laws that look like the judiciary is favoring Ugandans so that they begin to like Museveni again. You're going to see a lot of that coming back because a lot of people have lost faith in the Museveni government and the judiciary especially. He wants the courts to seem legitimate again, and the courts are going to bring back super sugar coated new laws or proceedings or activities to look like they support people and not the government. But as you know, Chiriowa Chiwanuka, the Attorney General, works for Museveni. Nzeija, the Chief Justice, is Museveni's relative. He's also a Rwandese. He was sworn in on Museveni's compound, in his yard at home. So all of these attributes point to the fact that the judiciary, no matter what they change, are not in favor of Ugandans, and they've never been. There's nothing that Museveni does that is in favor of Ugandans as a people. Everything that he does is in favor of his Rwandese people and his existence. Nothing good for Ugandans. So my advice to you, when you see all these happening, just be careful, because it doesn't mean that it is happening for sure. It's not in favor of Ugandans at all. Okay? Oh, the big elephant in the room. Iran. The war in Iran has shaken Museveni more than anything else, if anything has ever shaken this man. Museveni knows that between him and Ayatollah, the former president of Iran, he was next in line. Ayatollah died, I believe, at about 86 years old, and Museveni claims he's 83 years old, although I believe he's older than that, but let's give him 83 or whatever he calls himself. When the attacks began on Iraq, Museveni was on the phone constantly trying to find out if for sure the supreme leader of Iran had been killed. He kept calling China and Putin to find out if it's true, and he thought that the war would last at least 6 months to a year so that it takes the media or attention away from him. Because as you know, BOBIWINE is in the EU, he's in the US, he's everywhere. He's on media, all kinds of media, international stage. It's all about His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu and sanctions and this, that, and the other. So Museveni was hoping that this war would last at least 6 months to a year. But to his surprise, China and Russia both confirmed that the supreme leader of Iran had been killed in the strikes. So he was also disappointed that Russia and China did not swoop in to help, because he thought that since they all have a pact or have a relationship or similar way of ruling, that his two friends would come in, Russia and China, to try to rescue Iran. But that did not happen. So Museveni and his family, they regret heavily having not changed government or changed presidents, even if he could have given his something of a son or a different person, maybe Mao or whatever the case may be. They deeply regret having not changed governance, because they believe if they had changed the president of Uganda and they were still working underneath, things wouldn't be as bad as they are now. But it's too late, and Museveni knows his time is up and it's time to go. He has also said that if ever, which he knows, he says that he's next after Ayatollah. He says that if the US turns their ammunitions towards him, they could clear him and his family in about a minute. So he has called all the leaders, all of the Rwandese movements all over the world, all of them, and informed them that he's terrified and that things are not looking good in Uganda, and they need to start looking for solutions and other avenues, because he cannot foresee them surviving this one after Ayatollah was taken out this way. He does not sleep at night. In fact, he has his jet pilots. His jet pilots sleep in the jets these days, in airplanes, because he knows anytime he's next. And as good as the US was able to target the president of Iran, or the supreme leader of Iran, he's sure that he's constantly being surveilled by whoever is going to attack him next, which he actually believes he's next in line, which is true, because among the dictators and everything that's happening all over the world, it looks like it's time for a big shake up, for things to change. So he's worried about that. Despite his doctors telling him to relax and not be tense and worried, he's definitely worried, and his health is getting worse. He has also debated relaxing the policies that harden Ugandans' lives. For example, the policies that he has enacted with the Damliras and the people of the ghetto, who are the ghetto groups that are being used by the Damliras to cause insecurity in Kampala. He has asked them to stand down and do less, to try to not keep Ugandans on constantly hating them or hating him. So he wants them to reduce on the pressure on Ugandans, hoping that things don't escalate or make things worse for him. Museveni hopes that he can still get back in the hearts of Ugandans like they used to love him. But I think those days are gone, honestly. I believe those days are gone. Next thing, Museveni plans on giving himself a really big award because he's looking for legitimacy. He wants to look right. So what he's planning to do is he wants to stage an awards ceremony somewhere outside of Uganda in another country where he will invite different country leaders or presidents to go to that country and watch him receive this award that he's going to give himself. Okay? So it's funny. Museveni is going to get an awards ceremony together, organized by him, for him, given to him by somebody in a foreign country, because he wants a photo op, an opportunity where he will be awarded he'll be awarded something to show his military strength or contribution or peace management in the region. Okay? You know how the US and other foreign countries used to celebrate Museveni so much for peacekeeping in Somalia, in the Central Africa, in Congo, and all these areas, not knowing that Museveni himself was the causer of all these atrocities. So now it's time for him to continue his fake legitimacy. This time he's going to he's going to send invitations to different presidents or different leaders of different countries to come to a certain country in in Africa. I'm not saying East, it could be anywhere. He's going to invite people to this function, presidents, so that they come and witness him giving himself, somebody will give him the award, but it's to him giving himself an award for being a peacekeeper in the region. Crazy, but true. Only because he wants other presidents to recognize him as the president of Uganda or the president-elect of Uganda. You must remember that many different dignitaries and presidents are distancing themselves from Museveni because of fear of being associated by what Museveni is being called now, which is the truth. A dictator, a human rights violator, and all those things. So he's afraid of that, and so he wants to award himself something like that and have the media shifted from His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu to Museveni of Uganda. Okay? Crazy, but okay. He wants a photo with different presidents and dignitaries of other countries so that he looks right, like he is being supported. Okay? Muhoozi is, as you might know, his reputation in his family is not that great, obviously because of the tweets and how he has behaved recently. Not recently, always. So none of them is willing to recognize or try to attempt to get him to be president as they had planned originally. So they're trying to front Natasha. I don't know if anybody might have seen a post that came out yesterday where there's a picture of Natasha on a poster which says that a woman president for the first time in Uganda, something like that. It is because they're trying to front Natasha now instead, because Muhoozi has muddied the waters, especially internationally, with his tweets and his communications and his accepting or admitting to certain crimes, like saying statements like, we've only killed 22 of the opposition people, we would like to do more, and statements like that, and wanting to behead BOBIWINE. Things like that become a admission of crime or guilt in the international community, especially when he's trying to fit into his father's shoes. So we won't be seeing Muhoozi for a while, also because I will come back later. I have something else to talk about that, but he's out of the public eye because of something personal that I will be talking about in a few minutes here. Continuing with the Iran war, or the recent happenings in Iran, Museveni has called presidents of Rwanda, Kenya, and Tanzania to talk with them about oil prices. So because Iran is at war, Iran has a lot of oil or is connected with different countries with regards to oil. I won't speak into details about that because I can't really say the particular countries right now. But general knowledge is that the Middle East has tons of oil. And so usually when they have instability, oil prices are affected somewhat in different locations where they do send that oil. So Museveni, because he's so broke, the government really has no money because Museveni depended on foreign income or foreign aid a lot. Since the time President Trump cut aid to Uganda, the LGBT aid and US aid and all the other aids that were coming to Uganda, plus all the concocted reasons Museveni was getting aid or getting loans from places or banks like the IMF, International Monetary Fund, or the World Bank. But with a bad name now, he can't get those monies. So Museveni is broke. He doesn't know, he has no idea how he's going to run the government. Mind you, they're stashing away money for their future because they know that their future may not be in Uganda. So he has called the presidents of Sudan, Rwanda, Kenya, Tanzania. The reason why Sudan is called is because Museveni literally runs the government of Sudan. Okay? Salva Kiir is there not because he's a good president or can manage the affairs of Sudan. Museveni does control Sudan. I learned something today that there is a tunnel that has been dug at Karuma Falls, goes through Karuma area all the way to Sudan. And that tunnel is to bring in Sudan oil imports and things that he doesn't want to bring on the road into Uganda. So this goes to show you why the president of Sudan is still there and stands there, and Ugandan military guard Sudan and the activities and affairs of Sudan. I understand the entourage of the president or the bodyguards of President Salva Kiir. Some of them are Ugandan and Rwandese, obviously because of the benefits like these. So that tunnel is from Karuma or Uganda all the way to Sudan, and that's how they get the oil from Sudan into Uganda. So we have lots of oil reserves. There's lots of oil in Uganda. Amoro has a lot of oil. Bwiino has tons of oil. Apa has a lot of oil. So the efforts to try to cause oil prices to rise, which is the agreement that Museveni has made with the Sudanese, Rwandese, Kenyan, Tanzanian presidents, is that they all increase oil prices at once with a claim that the war in Iran is causing that price hike. But it doesn't make sense because Uganda does not get oil from Iran. Okay? We have enough oil in the region that we don't need oil from Iran, that even if there are interruptions in Iran, it should not affect Uganda as a country or the East African region, because there's enough oil in those regions. If anything, we have reserves enough. But Museveni wants to raise prices, so you will see oil prices go up or spike up in Uganda within the next few days. Something came up in the media last night about oil prices, something about the government is going to try to keep oil prices down. However, there's a war in Iran that may cause oil prices to go up. The reason why he says things like that is because he wants your mind to start getting used to a possibility that oil prices will go up. Despite the media saying that the government is going to try to keep it low, it is only preparing you for what's coming next, because they will put up prices for oil in all these countries, hoping to get and collect more money. Any way that Museveni can get money, he's doing it, including doing away with human beings in Uganda. He's not afraid to do that. Okay? So Ruto has agreed with him, and in the next few days, they will increase prices in lieu of the Iran war. My next discussion is about Anita Among, Speaker of Parliament. He's in the toughest place possible. It is confirmed by the sources that are very close to the regime, Museveni's regime, that Anita Among was poisoned. It may take a while, but many of you noticed how Kadaga just all of a sudden started getting the way she, the way her body just dwindled somewhat. It is the type of thing that is the new warfare by Museveni's regime. They are no longer going to shoot people anyhow. They're just going to do things like this. Poisoning people is going to be the biggest weapon they will use. Okay? So it was confirmed that she did fall prey of that and will definitely lose the speakership of Uganda. Museveni wants her either assassinated or in an accident that will be set up if the poison doesn't take effect right away. Museveni feels like Anita no longer helps him or helps his government. Anita is also, her hands are quite dirty because of the sanctions that have happened in the Western world. Plus, Museveni wants somebody to be punished this time. He is trying to look legitimate. He wants the courts to look legitimate. So, in the efforts of cleaning up and trying to look legitimate, he's going to nail some of these big people in government by arrests, accusations, and also incriminations, because people like Anita Among already have a history. And there's no person who works for Museveni without him having a file of something wrong that they've done. So I'm sure he dangles that file over Anita Among, as much as he wishes, until it's time for him to just clamp on her, and they'll have enough evidence to pull and get her all squared away. So Museveni, if Anita survives, she's not getting the speakership. He's going to eliminate her somehow, because if not her becoming a local Ugandan without a job or in prison, Museveni fears for people to start talking. So he has used, he's going to eliminate somehow. Just like he has eliminated the 2 leaders or 3 leaders of the M23 rebel group, which is his rebel group. He's also eliminating people from within. So Anita Among is a big target because he doesn't want them to talk. And also he's not going to have her as speaker because she makes a bad name for his government. She's not going to be respected, and so Museveni is done with her. Museveni has asked Chiwanuka, Attorney General, Karujire Kalimani, who is the lawyer, and also Bijirimana, who is the permanent secretary of the judiciaries. He has asked them to gather evidence on crimes committed by officials in high offices, which includes people like the Anita Among, some MPs, some ministers. Museveni is trying to look like he's cleaning up, so he wants to show the world. If not, he wants to show Ugandans that he's trying to clean up, the bad characters that are in his government. So he has asked these people to gather files that pertain to people like the Anita Amongs or MPs who have taken bribe, anybody who is seen as doing harm to the public eye, so that he can arrest them and make a good name. He would like to see if Anita survives, that she gets in prison. I'm telling you this not because I have anything against Anita Among as a person. I don't. I'm just telling you what the regime is planning for her. So maybe you let her know or whatever. She may despise what we're saying, but so far, everything that has been said has truly happened. So I believe that this is what they're going to do, and this is what they're trying to do. Okay? Amonge's file has already been compiled because, as you know, she has been in the media a lot about giving bribes in parliament, the Mpuga incident where that money went in the commissions, the reason why she got sanctioned. She already has a lot of files. But they're still going to work on several other different MPs and ministers and try to phase them out as Museveni works on legitimacy and looking proper amongst Ugandans, hopefully to renew his good name, if he does have any. Okay. The next thing, the Iran war, next again. Museveni has begged Putin and Xi Jinping of China to spy on the U.S. and try to figure out what their next mission is and who is next in line. He knows that he's next, but he wants to be alerted as soon as it is made mention of. So he's asked the Russian president and the president of China to keep their spy networks open, to keep looking, keep an eye out, and let him know as soon as it's declared that he's likely next in target. So he's been begging them. He calls them almost every day to find out what next and what's next. If Trump is going to come for him. Okay? So the fear is at high gear, as you can imagine. Being who he is and with everything that he has done. So you did see about the youth, the Kasuku visits with all of them at the State House with the president, with Museveni. Kasuku called Natasha privately. They are now on a personal basis, you know, to try to get Natasha's name into the public eye as a potential next president of Uganda. I understand while they were there, Lil Pazo was very derogatory about their involvement and his dealings with the Kasukus and people whom Museveni sends to go and lead or take on these tasks on behalf of the rest. So Kasuku called Natasha and apologized. The reason for the meeting obviously was to promote Natasha, as I mentioned earlier, because Muhoozi is now a failure. Okay. The other thing that I've learned from credible sources is that Kasuku has been using poison in the microphones when he hosts people on his media or on his YouTube or whatever he does. An example has been said that Tamale Mirundi was one of those victims of Kasuku's influence. You can look at, if you look back on how fast Tamale Mirundi's life just dwindled, he did believe he was poisoned, which was true. But then on and on, it went on for a while and he got worse and worse. But Kasuku managed to maintain Tamale Mirundi on the media and on his media sources. So it is said that he was an example and several others, and he was used effectively to get other people, you know, to lose their lives or consume poison through the microphone. So a lot of these people that have worked with him, who have had their health deteriorate, you know, it has been linked to him. It also explains why Kasuku is quite wealthy for somebody who does YouTube or with a very menial social media job. I understand he's a very wealthy man as a person, and it does help explain what this means or why this is coming up this way. So he is on a personal basis with Natasha, they're in touch often. And so when you see Kasuku and his influences, he has some big names behind him. So just be mindful if you ever have to be there or have to go on with him. If you're in the loop or opposition, just be mindful that he is one of the state agents that has been poisoning people using microphones. My next point is on Muhoozi's disappearance. This one's funny. Somebody contacted me and said, please make sure you speak about this. Okay. I'm going to talk about something that is very hard to hear. That is, I have to explain it. You can take it or leave it, but it is actually true. So, Muhoozi has disappeared from the social media eye recently. He's not tweeting. He's not in the public eye. He's not abroad. He's in Uganda. But listen to this. You know when I told you about the witchcraft that these people go and do in Magere at BOBIWINE's home, Muhoozi and his father have been going there with witch doctors to go and perform certain witchcraft activities and this and that. And so they went recently, maybe 2 weeks ago, and Muhoozi did not follow the instructions that he was given. He was told to go and do something with the stream of water that is on the land of His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, because they believe in witchcraft. In fact, I understand in State House, they are always performing witchcraft. Always. The reason they want BOBIWINE is so that they can get him and do some things with him to get what BOBIWINE has in him and put it in Muhoozi or on Muhoozi, whatever the case might be. So Katongole. Yes, that's true. So anyways, Muhoozi was asked, as you know, he's a big-headed type of human being. He was asked to go and perform certain activities on the stream at Magere, on Kyagulanyi's land, where his home, His Excellency Kyagulanyi's home. What Muhoozi did, going to pee on the stream was not part of the instructions, okay? This is very strange. So Muhoozi goes there and urinates in the stream, okay? And so because he did that, he backfired. Things backfired on him. Whatever the results were that they expected did not come out that way because he messed things up. Okay? So what Muhoozi went and did there was to go and pee in the stream of water, which was not part of the plan. What then happened was, apparently on that stream, you know, Buganda has a lot of, I want to say, a lot of powers, okay? Spiritual and, you know, a lot of respect to guardian angels, a lot of respect to cultural traditions and things like that. So there are places where certain spirits are believed to exist, okay? So in Buganda, in this area, there is a spirit that exists on that water that is called, I'll get the name, in the river, okay? So since that time that Muhoozi did that, he has constant pain around his groin area, his pelvic area. I understand he has swelled up, you know, to the extent that he cannot walk normally. It's like a prostate that is overreactive. And I'm talking big, okay? So, and he has constant pain and he feels like he's being punched in that area constantly. And anytime he tries to sleep, somebody, a woman, comes to his face and says, "What did you do? What did you do? Why did you pee in the stream? What do you want from my child? What do you want from my son? What has he done to you? According to Muhoozi, he tried to hide it. He thought it was something that will go away in a couple of days. But because it is too painful, too embarrassing, too difficult for him to handle on his own, he went and spoke about it to his father. So Muhoozi is under severe pain because of this constant punching pain and the enlargement of his areas and the embarrassment of being seen in public in that condition. So it is believed that the spirits of that area of Buganda, they're going to deal with him. You know what I mean? Okay, so that was hard to explain, but okay. So they're trying to do all kinds of witchcraft to try to reverse that. Now, the witch doctor who they're seeing has said the only person who can get Muhoozi out of this is His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. It is no wonder Museveni has gone high and low to bring every possible equipment to try to search for His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu in Uganda. Because this guy, Muhoozi, may not survive what he's going through. Okay? In any way these guys go around it, Uganda is for Ugandans, and it's time. In any way they go about this, and they're feeling it. It is either peaceful that Museveni hands over power, you know, he can ask Byabakama to come and say, you know what, I was joking. The actual results are this, that, and the other. Or somehow the heavens are opening up to push these people out of Uganda by force. Can you imagine that something like this could possibly happen to Muhoozi, to cause that man and all his pride and all his spoiled being to ever calm down and feel worn? You know that by now Muhoozi would have been tweeting left and right about M23. M23 came and went. M23 has, the commanders have been dead and so on. No voice from Muhoozi. Iran, no voice from Muhoozi. He would have come out and tried at least to show President Trump that he's the big man. Nope. He is nursing something that they have never seen before. And this could potentially take Muhoozi. This is the reason why they're fronting Natasha as the president to take over from Museveni. But in all efforts, nature is cleaning Uganda. Uganda is going through a cleanse. Many of you will remember that 40 years is remarkable since the Bible days for some reason. And Museveni is at 40 years. You know, they say 40 days of a thief, 40 years of fasting, of major changes in the Bible days. Jesus fasted for 40 days. You know, there's 40 days around the Israelites going around so 40 days has come around, and it has come around for Uganda. Somehow, Mother Nature, the mother of Uganda, is cleaning up Uganda for us. So, we celebrate whatever is happening to you, Muhoozi. You know, we wish you not well. Okay? But karma happens that way. You know, you do so many things to people for so long. Ugandans have cried. For so long, many Ugandans have been killed. Many beaten by Muhoozi personally. Many, you know, killed, raped. Many ordered by Muhoozi to be taken away, to disappear. He has done everything possible, but this one thing, you know, they say may not, usually they advise, you know, women especially, or people who are fighting men, that their main focus should be to try to get to their gearbox or whatever that might be. This one has climbed onto him without him even struggling or trying. So while he nurses that, and good luck to that, because only Kyagulanyi Ssentamu can bring him out of that predicament. And Kyagulanyi Ssentamu is not available to them. It is possible that this will take Muhoozi, and hopefully it does, because somehow they'll have to go. The owner of the river is called Nachiga. Okay? Nachiga is the spirit that owns the river where Muhoozi urinated and caused his shock absorbers to swell up. And that might end his life. So that's about it for Muhoozi. The next thing is, there was a bus that burned a few days ago. But a few days, maybe a week ago, I spoke about that one of the targets that Museveni is going to try to use is burning people or burning buses, because, like I said, they're involved in witchcraft way too much. And often they're asked for prizes that they can't afford. And so they go on to find avenues to satisfy those people or those evil spirits or witch doctors or whatever the case might be. And the other thing is, Museveni wants to create instability in Uganda. Somehow, I talked about him trying to bomb the United States Embassy in Kampala, thinking that His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu is being held in there. But in the meantime, he's still planning on causing a whole lot more insecurity within Uganda, including burning buses. These buses are going to be buses that are traveling between borders, between Uganda and Congo, or Uganda, Sudan, or Rwanda. Remember, he doesn't really care about other individuals. Museveni only cares about the Rwandese people and his Rwandese people. So not even entire Rwandese people. There's a gentleman from Rwanda, I think his name is Badman or somebody. He started speaking out about the atrocities of Kagame in Rwanda. Just to show you how divided a country they are also, despite Rwanda being painted one of the most peaceful the last few years. Many people had believed that it was the case, but no. Kagame has been branded one of the terrorists in East Africa. And that obviously leads you to Museveni, and he knows that. So next here, Museveni is going to put 5 billion shillings into circles of the youth and TikTokers led by Kasuku. I wish that Ugandan youth like these people can believe in themselves and believe in their abilities to make life for themselves. These things, the circles issue has gone on for so long, but I don't believe any of these programs are meant to develop a Ugandan per se. Even if they mention the circles and the 5 billion shillings that's going to be put in there, I don't believe that it's going to benefit you as much. So as a youth, those involved with the Kasukus and all of them, try to think beyond the means of somebody giving you. Because really what you are doing is, you are going to Museveni to give you a piece of Uganda, which is your own. You are Uganda. You own Uganda. But you're going to a foreigner, a refugee, to give you a piece of your country. It's despicable. It's absurd. And I know that's where they've gotten us to be. But find your strength. Find who you are. They say, in your powers, you will find your graces. Know who you are. Because who you are will serve you. Okay? There's no need for you to go and get crumbs from Museveni with promises of this, that, and the other, instead of fighting for a free Uganda that will serve you as your motherland. Museveni doesn't care for Ugandans, and he has never cared for Uganda. Everything that he does to destroy or weaken Ugandans is a government policy. It's a policy enacted by him and his people. So have faith in Uganda. Let's fight. Let's keep fighting. I believe more than ever that we are going to break free from these Rwandese people. As I go on, you will see that what I'm saying is true. So the TikTokers were given all this money, but as I mentioned earlier, They're giving you this, he promises this money, he utters matters about this money, but this money gets tied up. All those people who are promised money, especially in the opposition, the Walusimbis, that cash has never been released. There's a hold in the bank where they've put that money, and they will not get that money released unless Museveni says so. So how about you try other ways, okay? Like fighting for Uganda for a change, so we can all get free from these people. Museveni is very scared, obviously, after the Ayatollah is gone, after the killing of the supreme leader of Iran. Museveni is still very, very afraid. He's waiting on the Commonwealth resolution that was submitted by the international lawyer of His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, Robert Amsterdam. He posted something on X, which I shared on my page. They have submitted a resolution to the Commonwealth. Remember, Uganda is part of the Commonwealth, so if there be any sanctions, directly links all Commonwealth countries to also apply those sanctions against Museveni and whoever is sanctioned from Uganda. So that's coming down the pipeline. He's also waiting for the sanctions from the European Union, because that is in the works as well. Reports are being submitted. Reports are being reviewed. Sooner than later, there will be a reaction from that. He's also afraid, obviously, of being the next after the Iranian president was killed, the Iranian supreme leader. So all of that, he's very scared. He knows it's coming for him. Like I said, I have never been more hopeful for change in Uganda like I am now. I'm very, very hopeful. I know it's coming down. My battery is going low. I am going to switch phones, so I will see you in a few minutes. Sorry about that. Sorry, I lost you. Sorry about that. My phone battery went low. Welcome back. Welcome. Sorry, I lost you there. My battery went low. Okay, so the next on my things to speak about is mobile money. Museveni plans to ban mobile money for about 3 months. It has been brought to his attention that mobile money actually has more money stored than there is money in the treasury in Uganda. So he's going to come up with a plan around his swearing in time to try to lock up mobile money and claim that there's network issues and all this kinds of stuff, just so that he can use up all the money or take out all the money that anyone has in their mobile money accounts. This is obviously targeting the diaspora. I understand a lot of people store money on a mobile money account in Uganda and disperse them as they need or as they wish. And so be careful, those who have money in their mobile money accounts, because it is going to be frozen and taken away by Museveni. They are fearful of funding demonstrations during his swearing-in ceremony, and he feels like, you know, with a lot of money in the hands of the wrong people or people that he doesn't trust or like, they can easily overpower him and take over his government. So mobile money will be closed, or they're planning to close mobile money transactions for a few months as they try to get back on their feet somehow. So if you do have money stored in your mobile money account, it's time to move things around. The next thing is they're planning a lot of reshuffles, abrupt reshuffles. They were supposed to happen this week, but obviously the war in Iran has caused a lot of destabilization. Museveni is super shaken. He really can't focus on matters that he wants to accomplish in Uganda just yet, because he's scared and worried about attacks on himself personally. So he's planning on making a few reshuffles in the government, security organs, and in the army this week. So maybe the coming week he's going to do those reshuffles. But Iran has paralyzed all of his activities and plans so far. So we'll wait and see when that happens. Museveni has warned UCC boss Nyombi Tembo. He has ordered him to shut down any media house that is going to publicize or publish a lot or consistently publish. Hello, Rookie. Any media house that's going to constantly publish what is happening in Iran is going to be shut down, as ordered by Museveni to Nyombi Tembo, because he doesn't want Ugandans to know and follow what's happening in Iran. He wants Ugandans to stay calm and stay uninformed of matters going on in Iran. But obviously he doesn't understand that we have social media at the tip of our fingers these days, that we can always get information and follow more than he can imagine. There's a new public relations order which has to do with anti-corruption. Like I said, Museveni is trying to clean up his name in the public eye and also internationally by this time trying to capture or catch all the criminals for crimes like corruption. So the anti-corruption courts are going to be very, very vigilant and more active than usual. Even the police that are going to be working on the roadside, so if they do they're going to stage activities such as trying to bribe certain policemen or people in public works or services, just for mere fact that he wants them captured in the public eye, in the media, so that he can use them to somebody's sharing. Yes, Eve. So that he can use them as examples of his efforts to try to curb or capture corruption amongst Ugandans, especially those working in public service. So there is a public relations order that he has passed, and he wants anybody who is caught doing anything that is corrupt to be arrested, including those in the police, the army, the ministry, traffic police, local government, anybody that will be caught. And they're going to stage a lot of these occurrences just so that he can be seen catching them, or so that people realize that, okay, he's now working or he's doing something about this corruption that is eating up every public service or public office. Yes, I saw somebody mention something about Iran. So apparently Museveni has a lot of businesses in Iran. He has some hotels in Iran, and he has done a lot of public military dealings with Iran, such as purchasing ammunitions. He also has taken some loans from the late Supreme Leader of Iran. So he has mixed reactions about being happy, about being free from paying those loans back, but also he's now worried that his ally is no more. So he does have a lot of money stashed in Iran. He does have some hotels in Iran. That's why there's some Ugandans who are working there. Thank you, Tinda. He does have steelworks companies and where they do make steel in Iran that are his, that are Museveni's personal businesses. So the war definitely has destabilized his income source from Iran and also his ammunition source, but most so his ally. That, he was hoping when things came down to getting him, he would be able to defend himself or have his friends like China, Russia, and Iran defend him. So that's a big worry that he has. Museveni has sent, so during the M23 raid where they killed the executives of M23, the leader, Willie, and then the guy who, the other leader that was killed over there, and the one who was in Uganda and in Zambia, who actually the Museveni people managed to clear. The rest of the M23 that was still in that region melted amongst the people. They took off uniforms and melted into the Rwandese community in Congo. So they're still actively there, but now looking different. They're not showing up as M23 anymore. They're showing up as regular indigenous people in the area. They took their uniforms, they buried them and ran away and fitted in the community. So they're still actively there, but they're not as active as they used to be. Okay, so Museveni is still using them as weapons to try to accomplish his deals or his dealings in that region. He has given them poisonous weapons with toxins that he got from Russia, and he has given it to them because some of them now are posing as UPDF people. Many of the M23 that were blended into the communities are wearing UPDF uniforms, and they are deployed along the Uganda-Congo borders just so that they can protect and try to defend Museveni if something does happen. So be careful, those who are living in those areas. When you see strange UPDF people in UPDF uniform, they may not actually be on our side or on your side as Ugandans. They are now M23 but wearing UPDF uniforms. Kagame, the president of Rwanda, is not living in his country. As you people know, there's a lot of heat on Kagame from the Western world, especially after he broke the treaty that he signed, the deal that he signed with President Trump at the White House with Tshisekedi. Kagame lied to the U.S. that the Secretary of State, or State Department, that the M23 were not, that he did not know the M23 and they were not from Rwanda. But obviously, investigations and so many other activities were able to point M23 to Kagame directly and to Rwanda as a country. So Kagame does not sleep in Rwanda anymore. He has been living in Uganda. He sleeps in Buziga or at Salim Saleh's home. Kagame, the president of Rwanda, does not sleep or live in Rwanda anymore. He does stay in Buziga or Salim Saleh's home in Uganda because of all the facts that have been uncovered about his relationships with M23. He believes he's a target. And it makes Museveni even more scared because Museveni says if they're looking for Kagame, it really does mean that they're looking for him because of their ties. Museveni taught Kagame everything he knows. Museveni runs the government of Rwanda, basically, with the help of Kagame in that position. So Kagame has run because of the activities going on in Rwanda. It may be a good time for those that were opposition in Rwanda to see how they can take up space, because this man is fearing for his life. He's run away. He's staying in Uganda. It just might be time to change things around. All these countries will have to change government or leadership all at once. Suluhu, Kagame, which actually the report that was submitted by Robert Amsterdam to the Commonwealth includes the report from Tanzania, the elections, what happened, how many people were killed, the human rights violations, all of that. So all these three countries are feeling the heat, you know, and so it's a matter of time that either they'll pack and go, which obviously where they can go is becoming a problem, because when sanctions come down, they come down to treaties and alliances of different countries, like the Commonwealth countries. They can no longer accept people who have been sanctioned by their allegiances. You know, they can't. Like, let's say if Museveni has to run, and he is looking to run to Angola, and Angola is a Commonwealth country, Angola cannot take him. If he's trying to go to Tanzania, and they basically just have to hand him over once they see him, you know. So the world is closing in, and they're feeling it, and they know it, and they're worried about it. And that's why Kagame sleeps in Buziga or Salim Saleh's home in Uganda. Okay. So as I mentioned, Ayatollah's death is bittersweet for Museveni. He fears that he's next. Obviously, that's something that we all know. It's in our minds. He knows it. So what he wants to do is to disappear and go to Tanzania, and it's so that his family can say that he's in hospital or he's sick or whatever the case might be. And then later on, he wants his family to say that he's dead. Okay, so that he phases out of Ugandans' mind to say, oh, he was sick, it's only natural that he's likely dead. But that's what he wants his storyline to look like. He says that Ayatollah's was his old, So he says that he wants to disappear and have his family say that he's hospitalized, he's very sick. Then eventually he wants them to say, oh, Museveni is dead. He wants them to prepare a funeral and commence with every activity like it should be when somebody dies, so that he just goes away and disappears and goes to Tanzania and, you know, becomes whatever he wants to become. He's trying to survive sanctions or being killed like Ayatollah, the president or the supreme leader of Iran. That's what he's trying to do. He's very scared. His whole family is. He says that since the supreme leader of Iran was older than him, it means that he is next. And Natasha, his family is all scared. Everyone they're trying to stay together and stick together. In fact, Natasha has said she's no longer going to preach or go to church to preach. She's going to try to do this online. So if you see that they're not in the public eye, or like she's starting to preach online, it's because they're afraid that they can get picked up or could get hit from any angle. As you know, when these things come down, there is no warning. Although he thinks he has requested Russia and China to be able to tell him when it's 5 minutes to, or whatever the case may be, that he's next. Nobody really knows when these things happen. So things are tough, and they agree. They are blaming themselves for not having changed or given away power to somebody else, even if they would have worked from underground. The supreme leader of Iran was Museveni's supporter. He also supports Kagame. He also supported M23. He also supported Suluhu. But now they have none. They have no support from this country, and that country is struggling by itself. So that means they're all on their own. He's only two friends that are still here that can help him, potentially are Russia and China. Abductions continue in Uganda. Seriously. There's information that Shamim's sister, I got this yesterday. You know how many people disappeared? Some people, we still don't know who picked them up or where they went, or have never been seen. Around the time of the elections, around January the 15th, before that, after that, during the elections, many people were abducted. Many of them disappeared. Till today, there are people who are afraid to report about losing their loved one, but also have lost people and have been expecting them to come back, and they're not able to come back. An example is Shamim Malende, Honorable Shamim Malende's sister. I understand there is a huge safe house at Katabi. It is an SFC torture chamber in Katabi, where, for example, Aisha Malende, who is the sister of Honorable Member of Parliament Shamim Malende of Kampala, her sister has been there since before the elections. She was abducted on suspicion of supporting or funding NUP. Until today, and several other people are in this huge torture chamber. So if you're looking for your loved one, the police does not have documentation, LCs or anybody local will not have documentation. The places like these is where they're hiding these people. They're still torturing them, they're still abusing them. So anybody who is looking for Miss Aisha Malende, she is at Katabi SFC torture chambers, unfortunately. It's so sad. So another place where a lot of our people are who were taken, disappeared, killed, tortured, and dumped is a place on the express highway in Entebbe. It's a swampy area. I don't think I have a photo here. I'm going to add the picture in my on my Facebook page. But there's a place on Entebbe Highway around the express highway. There's a swamp around Mpala. If anybody's familiar with that area, many Ugandans who were killed whenever have been dumped there. They're unaccounted for. So people who are looking for their people, it's likely that they're in that place. I don't know how we will ever recover person to person who is where. I don't know. I don't know if DNA can do it. But we have a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. Can you imagine how many people have been dumped in this place? Anybody who is killed from anywhere is dumped around Mpala in the swamp. I got other information about a place in Kasese where square miles of land that is now owned by Mbadi, General Mbadi, square miles of land where people who used to own that land were all killed and buried on that land. Somebody has a video that is showing that, for example. So there's so many people who are missing, business owners who just disappeared, went away, never heard from, don't know where they are. They're probably buried in mass graves somewhere. Auma knows where the swamp is. It's crazy how these people are treating us. Thousands of those who died during torture are dumped in Mpala, in the swamp. It is a huge swamp. The things these people have done, the things they've done, my goodness. In Kasese, on that land that's owned by Mbadi, General Mbadi, thousands of people buried in mass graves. Thousands. When they ask you for the land to sell and you say no, they kill you and bury you on that land. See, a woman knows where that land is, the swamp is. Thank you. I'm going to figure out a way somebody can get me a video of that location. But even then, how do we figure out who is there? How? It's really sad. Really, really sad. But they'll get what they deserve. I don't believe that the Muhoozi and Museveni people will go scotch-free. I have consolation that God is going to punish them. The reason why Museveni has lived up to his old age and is now witnessing possibly an entire lineage of his wiped out this planet is not a coincidence. I truly believe that that's what should come to him. In fact, I don't wish Museveni dead just yet. I would like for him to witness everybody gone first. All of his people gone first. And then him last. Because truly, so many mothers have not had their children come back. So many opposition in the prisons. Today they bring them to court. The judge doesn't show up. They are given another date. People like Eddie Mutwe, he has been back and forth at least 15 times to court. The justice system that never works. At least 15 times Eddie Mutwe is brought to court and back, to court and back, to court and back. There's no judgment, okay? In the meantime, they're being punished, you know, they're being held for a crime they never committed. You know, some people are beaten to death. At some point, something's got to give. Truly, what Muhoozi has now, we hope will take him. Museveni might just bury all of his people, just like several people, like the mother of Senteza, like the children of Bobi Wine's driver, the one who was shot in Arua, like several other people who have lost their lives and lost just in the names of Museveni trying to maintain power. Truly, he's going to get what he deserves. And each and every one of you who works with him, all of you that work with Museveni, you are each going to serve what and get what you deserve on your own. People like Eweru, being Ugandan and all, it's absurd. But you will each get what you deserve. Each one of you. Next, Museveni has a lot of money in Kenya. And because of what is happening now, he's afraid that he could lose all of it. With the sanctions coming in and raining in, it means freezing assets. So he's scared that if they know that these assets are his, because some of the banks in Kenya have foreign companies. They are foreign banks or work with foreign banks. So because a lot of this money is in his name, yes, Alan, Chivalama's family, those children, oh my goodness. It's too sad. But we fight on and we lead on. And we won't stop. We won't stop until it's done. We won't. So anyways, he has a lot of money in Kenya. And he has spoken with President Ruto. And they've agreed that Ruto's daughter have all Museveni's funds transferred to her name. So all Museveni's assets and money in Kenya is going to be under Ruto's daughter's name. We don't have the names yet, but we will get what the name is and share it so that we are vigilant on that. And Museveni is trying to exit Uganda. In the next few days, he's going to try to get his cows to Tanzania. He's trying to use either helicopters or big trucks to move his cattle out of Uganda. He knows that something is coming at him, so we're very, very positive that somehow they're going to be driven out either by liking or not. So you are going to see a lot of fleets of Fusos leaving Uganda, going into Tanzania because it's trying to start transferring his assets. After that, he plans to have a coup d'etat. This is very high security information. Museveni is planning with a few of his top officials to start a coup d'etat so that when he takes his cows and transfers all of his assets to Tanzania, it is going to seem like the Singapore event where Obote went to Singapore and the generals were like, okay, now that you're out there, you're not coming back. Idi Amin took over. Something like that. So in the next few days, he's going to be transferring his cows. As you know, these Bachwezi cows are an asset to them, even though they stole those cows because they came with nothing. And all of a sudden, Ugandans lost all their cattle. And all of a sudden, the Rwandese have all this cattle. So he's going to start transferring his cattle out of Uganda into Tanzania to the land where he has his city or whatever. Yes, his cattle will not save him. Once he's done transferring that, there's high security intelligence that they want people like Okiding want to set up a coup d'etat where they'll say, okay, Museveni, now that you're going to Tanzania, stay, don't come back. The government is taking over power, the military is taking over power and all of that. Well, something they should know is that we have an elected president in Uganda, and even if the military try to do whatever they want to do, the elected president of Uganda is His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. So whether the military try this coup d'etat or whatever the case might be, our president, who is the rightful president of Uganda, is His Excellency Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. Okay? So after transferring his cows, he's going to set up a coup d'etat. People like the Okidings know about it. They're likely the ones going to order this coup d'etat. A few other military high powers or executives are in this. They're informed and ready to act once Museveni has gone or gone to Tanzania, or when he goes there and says that he's sick or dead or whatever the case might be. But that's how Museveni plans an exit, because he knows that he's going to get hit and State House will get hit to try to get him. Okay? So I think that's all I have for today. It's been quite a bit. I've been away. Some things came up, but I plan on being more regular again. You know, everything that is said is not to scare anyone. Okay? If anything, it's supposed to give us hope. Everything that is planning, everything that is doing is to give us hope. As you know, Byabakama was denied a visa. He was trying to get a U.S. visa to try to exit the country before sanctions clamp. Somehow, with a system cleanse that is going on, people are going to start talking. People are going to get caught. The ones who are supposed to leave are going to leave, and the ones who are going to stay, who are supposed to stay, will stay. Our president is still working very hard. He's safe. He's doing whatever he can. And with all our support, let's stay strong. It is unfortunate that some of our members of parliament, NUP members of parliament, have been hoodwinked by Museveni and his people. But I'm hopeful that whoever stays firm or stands firm will be awarded for his character with time. All those who are working for Museveni at this point, you can see from people like Anita Among, she did everything that Museveni wanted, including incriminating herself. It has come a time where Museveni doesn't want her anymore. And what's the resolution? To get her gone, or killed, or disappeared, or poisoned. All of these options are good for anyone who is working for Museveni. They dictate your expiration. So whether you choose to do it now, or you do it later, everything is going to fall into place like it should, as it should, including what's happening to them personally. What Muhoozi is going through right now is happening as it should. You know, they say karma comes to everyone, and they're no exception. In as much as they seemed and looked mighty, Museveni is the most fearful human being in Uganda as we speak. He is the most worried about what is coming to him, and he knows exactly what it looks like. After seeing Iran's collapse of the supreme leader, He has never been more fearful. And that should give us hope. In Uganda, we have never been this close. I want us all to stay faithful, stay strong, stay empowered, because it's coming. And we're going to do this. Uganda is finally going to change, have a change of government, give us peace, and serve Ugandans. Mother Uganda is going to serve Ugandans. We have a lot of wealth in Uganda. We have a lot of wealth. An example of wealth is that we have in the Bwiino area. Lots of oil in Bwiino, lots of gold in Congo, in Karamoja. You know, even if it's as simple as fish in different lakes. Some of the uniquest fish in the world is in Uganda. You know, the source of the Nile is in Uganda. We have a gem, and that's why these people want it. But it's time for us to take back Uganda, take back our country, enjoy Uganda. So I want you all to stay hopeful and keep working. Whatever you are doing, wherever you are, keep doing it. I won't stop. I'm with you. I want change for everyone. I want change for Uganda. I want peace in Uganda. I want us to enjoy a country also. Yes, Tinda, he's being punished by God. That is true. So I love you and leave you. I'll see you all tomorrow. Okay? Have a great rest of your morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. Lots of love. Thank you.